The Jim and Terry Show, still in the Hobbit holes, still OG, and having a birthday under my belt, I feel OG.
I think I've had 3 of your special coffees.
Oh, who was the comedian who specialized in that shtick?
Yeah, I wish I could remember his name. Foster, some kind of Foster.
Okay,
No.
well,
Anyways,
let's go with that.
He used to be on the Dean Martin show, and they'd be drunk, and he would be super inebriated. But Dean Martin himself didn't really drink.
Isn't that funny? Because the
that was his whole
reputation on
image.
the show was the guy with the whiskey glass and something sloshing around. And the Dean Martin roast was always about drinks and being inebriated.
But he apparently didn't drink. But you see, it wasn't what it was today. Remember, there was I think a show called Mad Men. Mm-hmm. And I remember there was a party scene, and the guy's leaving, just totally abbreviated, and the guy's standing there going, Harry, you got the wrong car. You got that? That's it. That's the car. Okay, see you later. Because you could drive drunk and everything else, no safety belts.
Isn't that fascinating when we look back? So this was all tolerated. It was accepted.
Yeah, totally accepted. And now, of course, it isn't. Rightfully so now.
Rightfully so.
Accepted. I don't know what point we were getting at.
I don't know, but I call it progress, and maybe under progress we can talk about green energy, and under green energy.
Well, okay.
To see how we can connect the dots.
You got a good point, because this is why this. See, folks, we talk, and then we end up turning a mic on after we've talked out. But we were mentioning, even if Trudeau back in the day, and you got to give him credit, and I would not have been a supporter. But he made alliances with those who were interested in climate control and
Well, we signed on to the Paris Climate Accord.
Yes, and all of that is benefiting now, because even if you look at climate control, like Trump says, is a hoax,
yes,
which it isn't, but let's say it is. Protecting the climate isn't going to hurt anything. So listen to me, my friends. If 3/4 of the world are leaning towards the standards of climate control, it's only wise to join them and move away from the 1/4 that doesn't believe in it, because it opens those markets. And we're seeing it now, because a lot of the things that when the United States decided that all of a sudden it was going to lift sanctions on how it raised its crops and stuff, it lost England.
Yes.
And then all of these places have to receive their food from places like Canada. And we've got a bunker year here now of crops going, because we're adhering to, that's the wrong word. Adhering
Sticking to the rules.
The rules of the European standards.
Which is very high in terms of green perspectives, which is let's not put toxins in our food chain anywhere, and let's just keep things clean and green.
Yeah, and so you have what they call Farmageddon down in the United States right now, especially soybean, because the whole process that Trump, the administration, has put out, number one, they're eliminating markets, and then those who they've insulted, who bought the most, are saying, screw you, we'll just get it from Brazil or some other place.
Argentina.
And then the United States, funny enough, are not selling their products to China, because China's getting it from Argentina, and the Americans are bailing out Argentina with billions of dollars. And this is your wise guy in charge. I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't get it at all. But let's stick with the green and clean and talk about CETA, the Canada-Europe trade agreement, which Freeland was part of the Trudeau government negotiating these things way back, probably at the mid part of Trump 1.0, so back in 2018, 2019. So that's how far back it goes. But we knew then that things were not going well with CUSMA. And so things were set in motion for us to align more towards Europe than the United States. Prescient? I think so. Good governance? Definitely. Gave Carney a heads up and a leapfrog to bypass the tariff debacle that Trump was foisting upon us with his 51st state jargon.
Yeah, and I think everybody has to realize something, and I've come to realize it more and more as I get older, I guess. I don't know. But
what's your expression? You told me that at the kitchen sink this morning. I thought, that's really amazing to listen.
I said the older I get, the more socialistic I become. we
Slow
got
to the uptick, my friend, but better late than never at the party.
But what we have to remember is all these governments, conservative or liberal governments, have been dealing with the United States for years upon years, and they may have been picking up vibes, different vibes that you and me know nothing about, but they know about it, and it's in their cabinet and the people associated with their cabinet. And then when I think of our Prime Minister Carney, I know he's going to make mistakes. He's made a mini blunder here, but he'll just blame someone in his cabinet. And that's this whole wreath thing about Remembrance Day. If you don't know about it,
yeah, I've heard a little bit, but
yeah, you
can-
don't want to cut back
okay.
on that. Anyways, he hobnobbed with world leaders when he was handling the affairs of England and Canada, not to mention the businesses that he represented and who was an advisor for in the United States. So he knows the atmosphere. So that's why I say in some cases, understand he's a quiet man behind the scenes here. He's pulling things together. Like there's something that some people may not be aware of. Canada has more free trade agreements than all the countries, I think, combined. Canada has.
Yes.
So we already have these free trade agreements.
They're bilateral, so
Yeah.
they're Canada to a nation, Canada to a trading area. In the case of the
Yeah.
EU, it's a trading bloc,
Yeah.
not just one, but it is bilateral.
Yeah, so we have these agreements which opens the door for us. So just give it a year or two, folks, and we're going to end up being incredibly prosperous. We talked earlier now. Ford has already mentioned it in Oakville. It's going to be making the F-150 electric pickup
Yeah.
trucks at a time when other countries like the United States are saying electric's not going to go.
And Ford is talking about billions in losses in the United States. They're looking to expand in Canada.
Yeah, and Canada, you see, may end up being the hub to ship these vehicles out of Canada. So if you're shipping them out of Canada to save tariffs, you might as well make them in Canada. So everybody, this is looking good for us. You just give it a little time, and it is not looking good for the United States.
No. The one thing that I still wonder about is the military alignment. We are so entrenched with NORAD and have been since the 1950s, since
Yeah.
the post-World War II era. How do we extricate ourselves, or do we extricate?
Well,
We've got our own over the horizon.
I was just going to say, we've already done it in a way.
Is that a start, or is that really taking one foot out of the thing and going? Are we out of NORAD, or is it still?
Well, number one, I don't think that the Golden Dome's going to be built. I don't think America's going to survive this. So I don't think they're going to be able to put the trillions of dollars into a Golden Dome thing. See, Trump thinks he's got $17 trillion coming
Yes,
in,
he
which
does.
would mean he would have a surplus of
A
about
war chest.
$15 trillion. And America is not showing that it has that
No.
that money. So that's bull. So the reality is there's still $2 trillion in debt. That's the reality of it. The other reality is that other countries like Canada have a lot of investments in bonds in the United States, which if they get pulled back, they're in trouble. So the arrogance that the Americans are showing, and they were the best, they were the greatest, they probably still are, but getting that greed of wanting to have more and be even better than the best in the world, all of a sudden it was like one comedian said, if we really think we're the best nation in the entire world, why, when we travel, we pretend we're Canadians?
Yes, have you seen that on a number? I follow a
Probably
little
Jimmy
show.
Kimmel or something. Yeah.
I follow a show called Guard the Leaf. The
Oh,
guy's
right.
got a nice little podcast going on, but he had a podcast where he talked about people sewing the Canadian flag back on their American backpacks, and they said, well, you know what, the way you talk and the way you treat people is going to reveal who you are, regardless of the flag on the patch.
Yeah, I mean, it's time for a couple of swallows of
Humble
humble pie, and the training in which they're getting now, and the leadership which has set this example. And you said to me, I don't know why you keep bringing it back to the bedroom, Jim, but I don't know why. I never understood why women could be so in love with jerks. I don't understand it for the life of me.
Okay, so that's your conundrum.
Yeah, and, well, no,
good guys
I
finish
realize
last.
it happens, and psychologically it's because they think that jerk's going to defend them if they need defending. But that jerk's as weak as every other man, every other woman, every other human being, and push comes to shove, they're going to run. They're going to leave you on that operating
I don't know
table.
how that works. I'm going to say it has to do with lithium-ion batteries.
Yeah, I know
In
I
the
went there
bedroom.
again.
I'm not going there. Jim and Terry Show signing off. Bye-bye.
Bye.